Hi-oh, it's Volix. Happy Halloween, and we're back playing Remnant 2, as I'm sure many of you out there are. I've just been running around picking fights with corrupted aberrations like everybody else, and my first drop was this Mutator called Edgelord, and as soon as I read the thing, I warped back to the ward, upgraded it fully, and built this stupid-ass melee build around it. I've always wanted to create a World's Edge build that was just so fast as possible, and this right here, this is it. With the new patch, the damage penalty for Bisected Ring has been lowered to 15%. And with the added speed that Edgelord brings on top of the tools that we already have at our disposal, the result is the shredding that you see in the background. Once again, Remnant 2 has become so fun to play with an entirely different game loop. It's absolutely goated. When you're in mobs of enemies, with this build, and the compulsion loop is running at full blast and Juggernaut is humming, you got something close to like 1,000% increased melee speed, and it fucking wails. I love it. I know that there are so many better damage options, but I really don't care. In this one, we're just playing for melee speed, and that's it. With infinite stamina, I have literally become Sonic the Hedgehog, just rolling around all over the place, looking for more enemies to keep my attack rate up. Let's talk about it. First, let's just give the loudest shout out to Gunfire Games for dropping such an awesome patch. Amazing work. There's some things that I'll miss, like the Alchemist Concoction exploit, but by and large, they have created a more balanced game that doesn't feel like tanks can just run around like they don't have 200 pounds of armor on. I'll miss tanking all the time, but I welcome an era of some lightweight builds, and this is one of them. We'll be using the handy-dandy loadouts to go over a few different iterations of the Edgelord that I put together for different use cases. Okay, first of all, what you see here is World's Edgelord in its most pure form. It's like the lightning form, downward spiral, Berserker's Crest, compulsion loop, bisected ring, and Anastasia's inspiration for haste. It's a little bit squishy, but who cares, because you're literally rolling around all over the place, and if you have 10 points into untouchable, that means you're invincible like 75% of the time. Edgelord always has the melee attack speed shard equipped. I use a few defensive relics as well just to balance the bisected ring. If you're really having a tough time, you can always swap in the Dying Ember somewhere for a constant source of health. This thing just rips. I mean, look at the footage. You're a roly ball axe murderer on angel dust. You can swap in any weapon too. Feel free to experiment. The hero sword is just so fast with this build that it pisses me off. Look at it. What a joke. Anyway, World's Edge has a fantastic opening strike when you exit the roll, and it makes the loop of rolling and striking a delight to play. This Mutator was absolutely made for World's Edge. It's no accident that it's called Edgelord. This is officially World's Edgelord. First drop of Aberration Domination. Okay, a couple different iterations of the build. Here's the medium version with a little bit more armor, but still coming in at the lightweight class. Added Butcher's Amulet for a little bit more damage. With more armor, I could swap in more damage shards too. It's just not as fast as the true lightning Edgelord, so even though it's more practical, it's just not nearly as fun to play. So whatever to that shit. Who needs a practical build anyway? But seriously, while I was playing on APOC, there were also a few times when this build just wasn't cutting it and I had to make some adjustments. I ran into the Red Prince and he had the stupid Trapper mod, which leaves the glitches wherever you dodge. And World's Edgelord relies heavily on dodging in order to survive. So yeah, I had to tank his ass. I created this regenerative tank Edgelord for the purpose, and it absolutely shredded the bastard without having to dodge at all. 53% standing fire resistance with 10 points into Shadeskin, and the Hex Ward pretty much tamed everything he had. I could probably eat lunch in the Firestorm with this build. Honestly, I expected this fight to be much worse, but with this build, it was a wrap in 2 runs. Nightweaver wasn't so bad, except that her one-shot mechanics were getting on my nerves. It wasn't even her strikes, which are very easily dodged. It was the stupid bugs that she spawns, coming out of nowhere in Phase 2. So frustrating. So I created this here build for that use case with SAMOFLANGE, however you pronounce that. For the first time in my life, I used this amulet. It kicks ass. You could have the most squishy build and still avoid one-shot mechanics. Just turn up your awareness for 10 seconds for the buff to re-up and it's all good. I never had a problem with it, and I actually think that there are very many builds in this amulet alone. And also, I think they buffed SAMOFLANGE in some way, so it's suddenly become a surprisingly handy asset. Alright, I think that pretty much does it for this video. I'm just so happy right now. I'm so happy that Gunfire continues to breathe life into this game. Their dev support is so good. It's an example of how to be. I wish other games got the kind of support that Remnant 2 does. Thanks everybody for watching this video. I'm so grateful for all of you. If it was at all fun or helpful, drop a like and sub. Any thoughts? Leave a comment. I love hearing the comments. And that does it for me this time. Keep farming and happy Halloween, everybody.